Hello and welcome to our Pinterest Masterclass. I'm very excited to be here today and thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today. I think I can speak for all of us when I say OMR never fails to inspire and dream big. So let's take our inspiration and our learnings to the next level and focus on Pinterest today, a platform that stands for inspiration. Today is all about performance and how you can drive performance at every stage of the funnel. You'll get learnings, insights, and first-hand tips on how to start directly with Pinterest. Sounds good? Well, let me introduce myself first. I'm Leonie. I'm a senior client partner here at Pinterest, and I oversee the travel vertical. So this is a perfect way for how I personally use Pinterest as well. I just recently came back from Panama, which was also heavily influenced by my Pinterest travel vision board. And today I'm joined by my fantastic colleague, Daniel.
Hello, I'm Daniel. I'm leading the beauty vertical, and I'm really excited that you're all here. For the next 5.5 hours, we have a lot of fun stuff for you prepared. And well, when it comes for pinning for myself, I am very deep into everything that is interior and design and stuff like that. But also with my past and being like on the industry side, I used Pinterest very, very much and heavily as a tool for getting inspiration for new products, designs, communication. So it's like a double heart that's beating in my chest.
Thank you, Daniel. So let's get right into it. What we'll cover today, first off, we're going to start with why Pinterest is the right solution for you and your brand. Then we'll take a deep dive into how to win at every stage of the funnel. And to round things off, we'll be joined by Alex from L'Oreal to share some first-hand insights on how they are using Pinterest already very successfully. So how would you feel if I told you there's a positive place in the internet where millions of people come to get inspired, who are ready to shop, and you have the opportunity to present your product for them as a solution? Sounds too good to be true? Well, that place exists, and that's Pinterest. Let me tell you more about it. Our mission as a platform is to bring everyone the inspiration to create a life they love. Pinterest is and always has been different, because here it's all about making your dreams, your ideas come true. And you're not alone in this. Our audience is continuously growing. We're at 553 million users worldwide, and in Germany at over 20 million users who are actively searching for ideas, ready to shop every month. So that's 36% of the online population in Germany. And this is mainly fueled to the positive intent they find on our platform. Pinterest has been, for good reason, rated #1 platform in social media platform in positive well-being impact on its users. Again, which we're very, very proud of. This is an incredible achievement for us. And this is but also a very strong message to you as advertisers. In 2024, more than 99% of all campaigns on Pinterest were brand safe. Let me repeat that, more than 99%. I think that's a very strong message. So let's hear directly from our users and what they think about Pinterest.
I love Pinterest.
I love Pinterest.
I'm a Pinterest girl.
Grab a snack, sit down, open your Pinterest, and let's get started.
We love pinning. I just can't stop.
You guys know I love getting my outfit inspo from Pinterest.
Babe, look at this. Look at this. Like, y'all see the vision, right?
Pinterest is a place that Gen Z comes to shop. They are finding not just the inspiration, all the style ideas that they love, but they're finding the products that they love too.
I've never seen a bad comment on Pinterest.
Pinterest is a positive place. It's an inclusive place, which is so rare to see now on social media.
Just feels really good.
There's not just one plus size person, there's different body types. The moment I put the body type, you see people that look like you.
Ew, it's so exciting. No, wait, stop. Why am I emotional?
I can explore any fashion trend I want. Who's gonna tell me not to?
Pinterest inspires me more to become the person that I want to be.
Well, if that's not inspiring, I don't know. But one word that really stands out here is positivity. Pinterest is all about positivity. And I think a lot of you probably feel the same as I do, especially in times like these. We're all looking for things in our day-to-day lives that make us feel good, make us feel positive, and Pinterest can help you with that. At Pinterest, it's all about self-worth, safety, creating belonging, and finding purpose. And in addition to our brand safety and our positivity, we also have a very unique user mindset on our platform. More than 96% of all top searches are unbranded. This means you can reach users at a very early stage in their customer journey when they're ready to get inspired by your product, looking for the next thing to buy. And people on Pinterest scroll 3 times slower, which means you have more time to connect with this very actionable audience. And Pinners use our platform across all industries and interests. A lot of retailers and FMCG companies are already tapping into this opportunity, but you can find content across all interests on Pinterest. So anything from food and beauty to home decor, fashion, but also for travel, entertainment, financial services, auto, wedding, you name it, it's there. So the content is endless, and so are the opportunities for you to tap into this. And what's also unique about Pinterest is the consumer journey. Because on the platform, you can reach the users at every stage of the funnel. So they come early to Pinterest, they want to get inspired, they see content in our home feed, and the more they engage with the content, the more personalized the recommendations become. And then they start to curate, they save pins, they click on the pins to learn more about the product, and they really form their decision. And then, when they're ready to buy, they simply click on the pin, they go to your website, to your shop, they can purchase the product and really finish their customer journey. So you'll see, Pinterest can really help at every stage of the funnel, and people love to shape their ideas with the content that you provide. And Pinterest is a platform built for shopping. And advertisers saw this last year in their business results. They saw that the click volume increased immensely, as well as the conversions coming from these clicks increased immensely. So they really saw their business results increasing. And we're inspiring shoppers to take action and make decisions with our shopping innovations. And how do they form their decisions? There are 3 main drivers that make them decide on what they want to buy next. First of all, personalization. So we see that users interact more with content that's more personalized to them. Secondly, product value. They want to see the value for the money they're spending, and they're ready to do the research for it and put in the time for it. And last but not least, visual content. Shopping is a visual experience, so it's very important that the ads are visually appealing, not only to grab attention, but also to really push them past this line to make them get this purchase. And we're constantly working on making this experience even better, implementing new features, and I'd like to share 3 of these innovations with you now. First of all, one thing we see is that pinners are 2 times more likely to click on content and buy this product when they already saved it. So you can find shoppable boards on Pinterest where you find shopping features in the boards where you can easily click on the content and purchase the product. And we also know that people love to get inspired by what other people are pinning, what other people are buying. So you can use featured boards where we are introducing boards from other creators, from other pinners, and showcasing what other people are buying, what they're interested in, and people can then easily purchase this as well. Secondly, collages. A product or format I'm personally very excited about. This is a very creative format. It's also our fastest growing content piece. And is especially popular within our Gen Z, which is also our fastest growing audience. Collages are intended to give you more options to do things with the content you've already saved. So you can cut out, you can combine, and create new pins, or so-called collages. And this is a very creative, interactive, inspiring thing to do. And we're also here constantly looking to make this format better, so stay tuned on what's to come next for collages. But first of all, if you want to try this out yourself, you can visit us at our booth. We have a little collages activation station there where you can test this out yourself and create some collage pins. And the third thing I wanted to mention is our newest and most efficient product, which is Performance Plus. This product is built on automation and AI. It's aiming to make your campaigns more efficient. And we see that advertisers who are using Performance Plus features are seeing an improvement in their CPCs and CPAs. And the way you can use this is in two ways. Either you can activate Performance Plus on the campaign level, and this will just help you overall improve the campaign performance, and you let our system do the work. Or you can select individual features. So anything from targeting, budgets, bidding, and creative. This gives you more control and more transparency while still getting all the benefits from the automation of the product. And also here, if you want to learn more about this, we have a workshop tomorrow at 11 a.m., which you can join and learn more about Performance Plus. So here we are. Why Pinterest? Because we are more than 500 million people worldwide, which is an all-time high in our history. We're constantly growing reach in Germany, and we have more shoppable, more actionable content on our platform. And above all this, we're a leader in user well-being and positivity. And with that, I'm handing over to Daniel to take us through the funnel.
Cool, so much exciting stuff. So the question is, how do we put this all in action and make it really work? That's the question for the next chapter. Driving performance at every stage of the funnel. But before we hop into that section, we have a little quiz question for you. So please read the question, and I will quickly go through all the answers, and then just raise your hands. What you believe is the most searched destination on Pinterest in the past 12 months? And our travel queen will later reveal what the result was. So, who thinks number A is correct? Okay, a lot of L'Oreal people are aiming for Paris, good. Who thinks Bali is correct? Okay, I can see people want to escape the weather in Hamburg. Who thinks Hamburg is correct? Wowie. And who thinks Prague is correct? Okay, then I hand over to the travel queen to enlighten us.
The correct answer is A, Paris. But Hamburg is a close runner-up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Cool. So then let's start. You heard, you can reach your audience across every step of the funnel. And while it looks like for the user that they see and discover content, they save it, ultimately they try it or shop it, for advertisers and agencies, it's the chance to kind of be discovered, to be decided for actively, and then to really ask for some action, which can be the direct purchase or actually the purchase offline. But now you're asking, cool, I heard this, what's the secret sauce behind it? We teased it a little bit because everything that goes across the whole funnel is positivity. And this is supercharging every step out of the way. And now you wonder, okay, sounds nice, but how do we prove that? Well, the good thing is Magna just released a nice study about how positivity works on ad performance. What they did is they were running multiple of the same ads for the same amount of budgets across multiple platforms. And then they checked for those platforms that are perceived as positive versus that were not perceived as positive to see if there's a difference. And actually, there's a big one. So if we look at the upper funnel and we stick to the awareness part, we see ads are working twice as hard when they are played on a positive perceived platform. This is basically coming through by ads being perceived as more trustworthy, more interesting. So first of all, you get the awareness, you get the attention, which is a big plus. For the mid-funnel, it also drives action. And I mean, this is kind of the fun stuff that we all try to do. We want to cause some reaction from consumers. They need to be interested, they want to find out more about the product, they want to ultimately buy it. And this was proven as well. So what we're seeing here is like, you can have more impact on the purchase intent. Again, positivity really works. But now comes the third part, and I think this is really interesting. What Magna did is they tried to decipher positivity for running MMMs. What they did is to implement it with by viewability and positivity items to see if it really sells as well. And the answer is yes. Plus 20% uplift on sales. Again, same campaign, same ad, everything the same, but run on different platforms. And the results are really speaking for themselves. So that brings us to the conclusion. There is a funnel that works for every brand builder. No matter if you're selling online or offline, there's a twist of how you can make it work. And one thing that's really specific to Pinterest is what we call multiple objectives, because these perform better and we can show you how much they have an impact. First of all, they are able to lift on average across some multiple meta studies the action intent whenever you have a awareness campaign and a consideration campaign combined. It's a lift of plus 1.9% on average, which is significant. But they also managed to double the conversion rates whenever you connect upper funnel and lower funnel. So whenever we think of campaigns, we always go for at least 2, maybe if it's possible for 3 objectives when optimizing for your campaign. And how that looks like, this is the part that we are building now together. Starting with awareness. Obviously, as marketers, we want to be there for all the fame. Our brand needs to be seen, our product needs to be seen, and we want it to be at as many faces as possible. So ultimately, our idea is we want to reach a larger audience. We want to fuel more conversion for later, and we want to set the base for retargeting audiences whenever we go deeper in the funnel. This is all possible with our ad formats. Here we have a selection of the ad formats that we are currently recommending to all our partners, starting with Premier Spotlight, our most premier and high quality format in terms of viewability, something we will see in a second. Then obviously standard videos, statics, max with video, whenever you really want to have more impact in the feed, because we have this double column feed. So if you want to really take over both columns, this is your solution. And ultimately idea ads, because obviously creators want to be featured on Pinterest as well. For Premier Spotlight, what is so key about it and what makes it so special that it works for specific campaigns very, very well? Well, first of all, it's your first ad impression that you have with the whole audience. You get guaranteed 100% reach for the day that you're booking a Spotlight. And the amazing part, now that we are having it run for multiple months, is that it really works in terms of lifting the ad recall by 1.5 times. So that means your ad is really breaking through the clutter, it's seen, and users can react to it. Somebody who did this quite well is TUI. They took over the Q5 or the post-Christmas season. So imagine, bring yourself back, like what have you done after Christmas last year? Like a lot of family time probably, a lot of food, a lot of time at hand to digest everything that was happening. So the perfect time to basically be also at your phone. This is something that TUI took quite smartly. They took exactly that season for a campaign and were able to significantly outperform their reach versus the whole baseline of 24. What else was working? They had a high attention. So the video completion rate was off the charts by plus 30%. So it really worked really well. And at the source was Spotlight. So if we're building our own media plan and we start with awareness phase, we have 2 options to start with. We have 2 objectives we can define. First is brand awareness. So we just want to be seen as best as possible. Or we want to optimize towards video completion. So your ads should be completed, should be seen. Depending on that, it also depends a little bit like what creatives and so on we are using. As for the business goal, we start with typical brand awareness. For the formats, we just chatted about the variety of formats that we have. So we can pick and choose. Obviously, for video completion, we opt for standard videos, while for brand awareness, you can go also for statics and different formats as well. Creatives are really key because we are a very inspirational platform. We are aesthetically pleasing, so we want ideally also the best performing ads. Make sure that there's a strong branding included because there's so much to be seen on the platform, so you want to stand out. Make sure you have a clear and visually appealing imagery, and also make sure that ideally your message gets across. For targeting, you use your targeting via interests or keywords. And then once the campaign is completed, you can either optimize or check on the campaign performance either on CPMs for the awareness part or for CPV and view-through rates for the video optimization part. But as we learned, one objective is not enough. So we basically hop into the next part of the funnel, which is consideration. Also here, what's our goal? What do we want to achieve? Obviously, we want to drive more purchase decisions. We want to reconnect with audiences that we may have already targeted in older campaigns or in the upper funnel part. And we want to drive to website because sometimes even like an ad or a 6-second video is not enough to tell about all the amazing facets and USPs that your product has. So what are we doing? We can use some different ad formats. Quiz ads and showcase ads are some that are highly engaging at the moment on our platform. And it's really fun to use. So for instance, Hills, as an example, is a pet food company. What they did is they crafted a little quiz asking consumers for what is the size of their household, where are they living, and basically help them to kind of guide them to what size of a dog would be the perfect one. Obviously, they are also the solution when it comes to the food part of it. And then showcase ads, one of my favorite ad format, and also a nice case for L'Oréal Paris here, is whenever you have a complex routine built of multiple products, or something where you just want to highlight individual steps, this format basically puts all your content together in one whole holistic experience that helps you to guide the consumer through something like a carousel, but every step of every tile will be included with the products that are being showcased. Beyond that, there's still a huge variety of formats that you are aware of: standards or statics, carousel ads, collections, or if you part of the squad of the Travel Queen, obviously our travel catalog. One example for a partner who did this really well was Edeka. They are focusing, first of all, on the targeting for our Performance Plus. So let the algorithm and the AI do the optimization for the campaign building, but then also using a consideration campaign in order to get the idea of the campaign across. What they mentioned or what they saw is that they were able to increase significantly their click-through rate and also to reduce significantly their cost per click. So if we build this stage of the funnel, what should we do? Well, good thing is there's just one objective we choose from. So it's consideration optimized towards cost per click. Cool. Business goal, we want to go for either traffic or lifting the action intent, which can be measured by brand lift studies. In terms of format, we spoke about it, what could be really handy, and it really depends on what your brand and product is like. For the creative, we make sure that we highlight what is the secret sauce of the product, what is the right text overlay, and really to convince users from the product. Still include a solid branding and make sure you have a CTA. And then for targeting, same applies. We can optimize towards interest and keywords. And then when it comes to reporting, CPC and CTR, so cost per click and click-through rate, are the options that you are looking at in order to optimize further. And that brings us to the third part of the funnel, and Leonie.
Thank you. Need the clicker back. Sure. Thank you. Yes, so let's get to the last stage of the funnel, or so to say, from discovery to decision to do. Adding a conversion campaign can help you reach pinners who are ready to take action, who are ready to purchase from your website on your shop. Within our conversion objectives, you have the opportunity to optimize towards 4 different events: lead, sign up, add to cart, and checkout. And also, if you have a feed or a catalog, you can run feed-based campaigns. And within this objective, you also have the opportunity to choose between a manual approach or a more scaled approach if you work with feeds. And this also gives you a different option to choose between different formats. If you go with the manual conversion setup, then you can choose between a standard ad, carousel ads, collections ads, as Daniel already mentioned. But you also have the option to choose a lead ad, where I think the name already suggests what it does. It generates leads and it generates engagement. When you're running shopping campaigns or feed-based campaigns, you can choose between shopping ads or video shopping ads, but also carousel and collections ads. Or for catalog campaigns, you can also activate the Creative Plus feature, which will then dynamically choose the most efficient format for you. And all of these formats also work with direct links, which just means you will guide the user directly to your landing page, or with mobile deep linking, which will get the users directly into your app. So let's talk about catalogs very quickly. When uploading a feed to Pinterest, this is very beneficial to you because, first of all, it's free. It can help you with free organic reach. And also, if you already have a feed implemented on another platform, it's very easy to adapt it to the Pinterest requirements. So how does it work? When you upload a feed, we create a pin for every single product and every single image in your feed. And this already explains why this can help with free organic reach, because these pins will already be distributed. You can also upload a feed even if you don't have a tag or a conversion API implemented. In that case, if you want to run campaigns, you can optimize towards CPC. Of course, if you want to optimize towards add to cart or checkout, then you will need to implement a tag or a conversion API. And once you uploaded the feed, it's important to keep an eye out on the feed health to ensure that all the products are up to date and showing the latest data. And for that, we just recently launched the Catalogs Diagnostics, which helps you easily identify any errors or issues, understand the implications of this, and most importantly, understand how to fix this. And as we saw earlier, people really want to understand the value of the product they're buying. And that's why we're introducing promotions, or we introduced promotions to really bring the value of your product to the front and center and help you drive your ROAS. So now you can activate time-bound promotions either via Ads Manager or via Shopify, and for any standard and shopping ads. And you can select from more than 20 different templates, anything from free gift with purchase, free shipping, or any percentage off of the price. And we've seen that advertisers who are using promotions are seeing an increase in their conversion rates and are seeing an increase in their ROAS. And one example I want to share with you here is Thomann, Europe's largest music retailer. They were especially excited to test out the new Performance Plus features when they launched. And what they did was, in the first phase, they tested out the Creative Plus feature within this Performance Plus suite, and they saw their ROAS increase by 15%. And in the second phase, they tested the whole Performance Plus campaign setup, and this further increased their ROAS, so they saw a lift by 45%. So I think this is a great example to show how other advertisers are already tapping into lower funnel on Pinterest. So let's get to our best practices. I already mentioned, so you have the option to choose between a manual and a scaled approach. So let's start with the scaled approach. Catalog sales, we also say shopping campaigns. In this case, you can optimize towards a CPC or toward a CPA, so add to cart or checkout. Of course, the overall business goal is here to get the sales in. Regarding the format, I already shared what kind of options you have. We would always recommend using a mix of these formats to get the best performance for you, or in this case, to activate Creative Plus to let our system do the work. And for the creative, we will use the creatives that you provide from the feed. So basically, make sure that the images in your feed are showing your product so that the users know what it's about. And for targeting, you have two options. Of course, you can do prospecting targeting, so reaching new users, and this will be based on the metadata from the feed. So there you won't see any interest or keyword targeting for catalog campaigns. Of course, you can do negative keyword targeting for brand safety, but we're using the data from the feed, so make sure everything important is in there. And then we also recommend adding a retargeting phase on there, which you can use with already existing audiences you created, or with dynamic retargeting, which will automatically find users who are on your website or who added to cart and haven't checked out yet. And then moving on to the manual approach, so the conversion campaigns. These are for everyone who either doesn't have a feed or who wants to have more options in optimizable events. Because here, in addition to add to cart and checkout, you can also optimize towards lead or sign up. And again, I already shared what kind of options you have for the formats. Here as well, we would recommend choosing a mix of these different formats to find the perfect one for you. And in this case, you're uploading the creative yourself, which gives you more control, but also comes with a responsibility to follow our best practices, of course. So here on the right side, you can see like a mock-up for this, basically. Very important, always include branding, include a text overlay, of course, show your product front and center, include a strong CTA to really drive the shopping intent. Also, if you have a price communication you can share, especially for lower funnel campaigns, include this in the creative. And for targeting, you can choose again between prospecting with interesting keywords or for retargeting with audiences. So that was a lot of input. So last but not least, now we're going to walk you through how you can put these best practices into practice with your brands. So let's say you're a food brand and your overall goal is to build awareness, drive traffic, and get offline sales. I know, right? We want everything with best case, just one campaign and get all the results out there. But that's exactly why we recommend to run multi-objective or full funnel approach. So let's say we're looking at Straight to You now, our fictional food brand here, and what we would recommend is a best practice setup for them. In this case, they don't have their own shop, so they can't run any lower funnel activity in this case, so that's why we would suggest to run an awareness and a consideration phase. So kicking things off with the awareness phase, they can, just want to reach new customers, increase their share of voice. They can choose between different targeting strategies, like keywords, interests, or personas, for example, and then run a mixture of different ad formats. Of course, a quick shout out here again to our Premier Spotlight, which is perfect for branding if you want to have maximum reach, maximum awareness in a very short time, and also incremental reach to your other campaigns that are running. And since their overall goal is to build awareness, we would allocate around 70% of the budget to this phase. And then adding on to this a consideration phase to drive traffic. So they can keep the same targeting strategy as they're using in the awareness phase, but they can also already introduce a retargeting phase, for example, or opt in for Performance Plus. So just let our system do the work and minimize the input they have to give. Again, recommended to use a mixture of the different formats. Here you can choose a bit between if you want to run more static ads like standard, carousel, or collections, or if you want to drive more engagement and education, like Daniel shared already with quiz ads and showcase ads, for example. And so the remaining 30% would be allocated to the consideration phase. And as you can already see on the right side, we of course have different measurement solutions for each stage of the funnel. But I will get to that in a bit. So now let's say you're a retail brand and your overall goal is to get conversions and build awareness for campaigns that are running throughout the year. So let's take Blackzone, our fictional fashion retailer here, and they're ready to roll. They have the feed implemented, they have the tag, they have the conversion API, so they're really ready to go. And that's why we're running a full funnel approach with them. So in the first step, of course, we would start with an awareness phase. The best practices here remain the same as I mentioned before. The only difference here would be, of course, the media spend weighing, because the overall goal would be to drive sales. So we would only allocate around 20% to this stage of the funnel. Then again, adding on the consideration phase to really help drive decision, drive intent. And here, again, the best practice setup remains the same as before, just around shifting the media budget a bit to 30%. But let's focus on the lower funnel best practices in this case. Also, just as a shout out here, if you don't have a feed, for example, you can still use this as a cheat sheet and just look at the web conversion best practices because those would remain the same. But because Bluxome has everything in place, they're running both objectives. So they're running conversion campaigns and catalog sales, both to find new customers, so using prospecting targeting with interest in keywords for the conversion campaigns, or prospecting with metadata from the feed for the catalog campaigns. But they also want to reconnect with existing customers, so they're also using audiences to retarget, or they're using dynamic retargeting with the catalog campaigns to automatically find users who already looked at their products but haven't made the purchase yet. And of course, for both cases, they could also turn on Performance Plus to just let the system do the work. Again, using a mixture of different formats or turning on Creative Plus for the catalogs campaigns to automatically find the best and most efficient product for them. And so here, 50% of their overall budget would go to the lower funnel because their main goal is still to drive sales. And again, on the right, you can see some measurement solutions, because that brings us to a very important question, right? How do we measure success? Especially also beyond just campaign KPIs. And that's what I want to focus on right now. So, of course, there are different ways to measure this. And on Pinterest, you have measurement solutions for every business objective there is. So anything from brand lift studies and conversion lift studies, but you can also work with multi-touch attribution or marketing mix modeling or A/B testing, for example. One very important thing here is to remember, measurement is a test and learn journey. So it's important to really embrace this and always remember testing, learning, adjusting, adapting. And that's also why a full funnel setup is not just a one and done deal that you run for a few weeks and then you're done. This is something you set up for a longer time. So what you see here is our recommendation for a full funnel setup spanning across a 12-month window. So starting with an always-on phase for consideration and conversion to really help drive intent and conversions all year round. Adding on to this are the flighted campaigns for any seasonal moments, for example, going with awareness or video completion to generate any heightened demand during these phases. And then adding what we call tentpole moments, or let's say peak moments, which are big boosts basically in your strategy. So anything like maybe introducing a new product or a brand repositioning, you can really run with awareness or video completion campaigns, or of course, again, Premier Spotlight to get that maximum awareness in a very short time. And embracing the setup will help you be there when people are looking to be inspired and are actively searching for a new thing they want to purchase and taking this action all year round. So here we are, a new era of Pinterest this year, with more than 500 million users worldwide, which is an all-time high for us. With more shoppable, more actionable content, and above all this, a leader in user well-being. Secondly, if you want to win at every stage of the funnel, make sure to choose the right objective for your brand and your goals. Consider running multi-objective or full funnel campaigns to get the much better performance out of it, and include Performance Plus products in your campaigns to get them more efficient. And last but not least, measure everything that matters. Pinterest measurement solutions span across the whole campaign lifecycle, so work with our team to find the right solution for you and the right setup, and always remember, measurement is a test and learn journey. And with that, I'm handing over to Daniel and Alex, who will now join us on stage to walk you through one of our proudest success cases with L'Oréal.
Thank you. Please welcome Alexei, Senior Brand Leader from L'Oréal. It's great that you're here today. So
thank you very much.
Try to sit down for a second.
Oh, it's look weird.
Fun.
I don't hear any people, but let's do it. It's like a private talk we're having.
It is. I mean, just like yesterday. So, let me hop to the next slide. We're talking about Mixa. It's part of the, say, Garnier universe. It's part of the whole section. And we're super excited that we can co-share that case today with you. But first of all, maybe introduce yourself. Tell us a bit of what you are pinning, and then we hop into everything that's brand related.
So nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm Alexey Mikhailov. Actually, I think I have a kind of a journey with Pinterest because I used to work in the development of the products back in the day, and it was exactly the place of the inspiration for me. And sorry to say that for the Google guys, but Google search image doesn't help you to get the inspiration. And when you're really looking for something that will touch your heart, let's put it that way, aesthetically, then Pinterest was always the place for me to go.
Sounds awesome. So what are you pinning right now?
Well, most of the time it's textures, it's products, it's also a design because we're thinking with my wife to get a flat. So it is also a little bit of a personal journey for me.
I think we have a lot to share. Awesome. So you're building this brand in Germany, and it's quite relatively new to the market. It's like a couple of years. What are the challenges? What are you doing with your agency partners, with your team, in order to really make a footprint for the brand?
Well, you know, Mixa is kind of the interesting case. Maybe one day it would be in the books, I don't know. But imagine yourself having like on the table the brand which has a huge heritage of 90 years almost. It is huge in France, it's more than 40%. But there is one issue, challenge, let's call it that way, that it's not that relevant for the German consumer. With a proposition of kind of this soft, I call it marshmallow family approach. And that's why we had a challenge a couple of years ago to step back to identify what is actually working for the brand, for the German consumer. And we came up with a nice formulation, I would say, kind of the DNA of the Mixa, exactly as you can see how we call it, is this mass and medical proposition where we talk for the mass, for the distribution, for the consumer, for also the advertising channels, and for the medical, like the messages that we're talking, all the science that we have behind it and the testing. And I think this really resonated in the heart of the consumer. And maybe one more thing from like marketeers' heart, I would say, that really matters for me and also for the consumer is this honesty that we really managed to have, not even talking with the consumer itself, but with the skin itself, with personalizing it, with talking about all the not perfect conditions that the skin can have, and really bringing this inclusive image that the brand is building right now.
Sounds awesome. I feel like a lot of positivity is in the vibe as well. So welcome to Pinterest one more time. Let's have a look at how your portfolio looked like before you started with your face care launch. Would you want to tell us a little bit about it? What was the challenges so far? What was the mix?
I would say that this portfolio is kind of reassuring for us because we thought and we were 1000% sure that we kind of have everything in terms of the success to go for the new challenge because it's a body care market. We managed to unlock the growth and then to go further for the face care market. And that's the beginning of the ride, let's call it that way.
That's the minute that changed a lot for you guys because now you are up with a category that is highly competing with like a lot of, let's say, big whales. And now it was you and working against it and trying to establish the brand even further. How was that?
Well, you know, there is a comparison that I keep repeating internally as a kind of a joke that imagine you are a rally driver or you have a rally team and you are winning like every race, you know how it works. And then at some moment you dream, okay, I want to win the Formula One. And you cannot be that stupid to count on the fact that you put the same car, the same driver on the track and it will hit the podium. But I think that one thing that helped us a lot is actually that we knew how to craft the brand, and it has been already crafted on the body care. And it was extremely important for us to understand what was working in the brand and resonated in the new market. And that was actually the mass medical proposition that we managed to craft at the end of the day. And this was awesome because it was in the DNA. And together with the expertise, with all the innovative approach that we have for the Mixa already established, it was definitely a good way and good signal for us that we can go forward and proceed. But maybe last thing to add on top is that as soon as you're reassured on the product, on the concept, all the tests that you has done, like the biggest challenge still is the awareness. And I would say not even the awareness, but the combination of the awareness and the education, because you need to deliver the message and it needs to be understandable.
Sounds like a challenge. The good thing is, when you launch the product or the whole product portfolio, which is like 9 products in total, and I basically counted the opportunities of how you can mix and match and combine these little routines. I think it's 27.
Not bad.
Quite a lot to take in. I mean, it's a challenge. You started the launch on Pinterest last year when you were starting the campaign and the big reveal of the launch. How did you approach it? What was important for you?
So maybe I will make a step back to say that, yes, I mean, when you're entering the market, which is not that scientifically driven, is kind of easy. I don't want to say easy, but still you need to focus on the awareness and you need to make it loud, you need to make a big boom, and voila, everyone knows and talks about the product. I think that the challenge, once again, that we had on the Mixa is entering the face care market, which is really is backed by the science, is backed by the great formulations, I need to admit, is great by the great claims that are there on the market, and we had to make sure that we can really stand out behind everything which is there. And as you see, when there is a science behind standing out, you need to have the unique message, exactly as you mentioned, the mix and match, for example, and you need to explain it to the consumer. And maybe moving forward, explaining a little bit how we set up the campaign and how we actually came to Pinterest is that how it works, we have the partner Wavemaker, and we briefed together with them to say that, okay, guys, we need to have the awareness, we need to really deliver the message, to really qualify the message, let's say it that way, and to combine the two, because deliver the USP, good, but believe it is better. And then actually here, where is the Pinterest came to, because I remember as yesterday how the Wavemaker said it to me and sold it to me. They said like, guys, there is an opportunity to get deeper under the skin of the consumer. And I'm like, sounds nice. What does that mean? And also, I think today you mentioned that the scrolling time is 3 times longer. And this is exactly, for me, was the persuasive thing, to kind of sit on the 2 seats to, okay, boost the awareness, but have a qualified reassurance of the message delivery.
Awesome, cool. Let's have a look at the results. If we just look at media, and I think here we're repeating ourselves, it was a multi-objective campaign. Hence, it was very efficient. You were beating the CPM results for the awareness part and the CPC results for the consideration part by far when it comes to the beauty benchmarks on the Pinterest. So I think that's amazing, but I think you wanted to go much further. You had a challenge to tackle, you wanted to get a message across, and ultimately you wanted to make sure that you win some market shares. So a lot to take in. And I think what was really interesting is we wanted to help you to kind of monitor and measure the whole setup. I think that's what we tried, and that's also the part that we are releasing at the moment. It's your case where you were able to do this across the whole funnel. And let me quickly explain some of the KPIs. There's so much more to it, but we picked some of the very significant ones. First of all, you are able to achieve a really, really big lift in ad recall. So your message got through and people were seeing you. I think that's a big tick, and I think it fits your goal. Then I think what is also important is you were able to lift the action intent. So either people were seeing your ad, but also engaging with your ad, and ultimately they were either clicking it or engaging with the formats that were more engaging. So I think also here, big tick. And then I think what makes us really proud is that we were including beyond the sales, beyond the brand lift study, with a partner of LiveRamp, a sales lift study, in order to bridge the gap that we have full funnel that is being monitored, even though there's no online purchase happening. And I think that was really interesting to see when we saw the results, because there was also a huge lift. And the best part is, and I hope it fits into your story when it comes to category management, you were able to trade up your existing consumers by far with significant lift in the spend per customer.
Genau.
So I think overall, it looks like it was a really good case and a really good campaign. So I think that is really important to take away. And we are really proud that we were part of this journey. But I think what is also interesting is, and you mentioned it, and you are an old global marketing kid, so you love creatives. You don't stop there with what you have. So we went further, right?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe one thing that I wanted to say separately is that the collaboration is kind of the thing that is bringing the synergy. And I also believe that the good result that we managed to achieve was behind the collaboration, because it's true that, sorry, there is no one who knows better the Mixa brand that I am and my team does, but there is also no one who knows the Pinterest audience better than you do. And yes, we were backed by the great assets that were catchy, that were able to attract the attention, but to know how to attract the attention of the Pinterest audience, this is where you really helped a lot in terms of optimizing specifically on the mid-funnel stage. So if there would be any highlight or any advice to anyone who would be getting in the collaboration and the campaign with you, I would just say, like, trust those guys. They know their people.
I'm trustworthy. I'm pros. Cool. So I think when we heard about the campaign and also the 27 combinations that can happen in order to create your own routine, we said, okay, the standard quizette is not enough. We need to build something bespoke with you. And I think that was really exciting when you and the team said, cool, let's do this. So what we built is like a little microsite that gathered like the whole user journey in order to really define like what's my skin type, what's my main need, and so on, in order to build a very personalized routine. Because I think that's what makes the magic about it. It's really about the user. And I think for most of us, agree, we use Pinterest because we use it for us. We want to discover new things. And I think this played really crucial role in order to do that. What we also helped with, and I think that was really part of it, is to highlight Mixa being now in the face care category, having a new routine. So many people, as I learned from you, are still not aware like what routine steps in a face care regimen do I really need to take? And also like what is the right sub-range of it? So we crafted the assets towards exactly that. So I think, is there anything I missed?
Well, actually not. Only our willingness to proceed and to have even higher figures. We are ambitious, so let's see how we can make it even higher and better. Always looking forward.
Awesome. Is there anything before we come to our end that we should be excited for this year when it comes to Mixa? And maybe also on Pinterest?
Well, you know, Mixa is definitely a gem that we're having in the portfolio. And once my old manager back in the time said, don't break what is not broken. Mixa is definitely not broken. It's flying, and we definitely proceed to fly. And it's great that we're having on board in our media campaign Pinterest, because it's true that it's just the beginning of the journey, and we still have a lot to educate the consumers. We still have a lot of messages to give to the consumers. And definitely, and we can see by the figures, they cannot lie that you earned your place there.
Cool. I'm so excited for what's to come. Guys, I think this brings us to the end for today, but I have to do the honor for a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, and I saw some pictures and I forgot to mention it earlier, you are able to get also a summary of this talk track, so no need to take photos. I mean, now it's too late. But if you scan the QR code, there's a short questionnaire, and then you are able to get the summary. Also, there will be a reminder next week to your email addresses, so there's still the option to do that if you hadn't had the chance today. And then also one more highlight, to tomorrow at our booth, there are some more smaller classes that you can sign in for. If there's anything you fancy and that you want to learn more from, please do. Our fabulous colleagues will be there and guide you through it. And for now, we still have like a couple of minutes here. So if there are any questions you want to ask us personally, so me and the team, and also Ben will be shortly here, our shopping expert, please drop by, say hi. And if not, have a fantastic OMR for the rest of the time. Thank you, guys.